Alberta at one point has the highest number of residential schools in the country.
A residential school exhibit here in Calgary is detailing the local ties that Alberta has to them. And it's set up here at the historic Lougheed House, which has an interesting connection to the schools.
James Lougheed, who built the house and has this astounding legacy in the province, was a supporter.
Curators Aaron Benedictson and Matt Hill, a Métis historian, put it together with the help of the Métis Nation of Alberta. Benedictson says there are connections to this historic house, and that not only was Isabella Lougheed Métis, her husband, Sir James Lougheed, a prominent businessman and politician in Alberta in the 1800s, had a say in whether Indigenous students would attend residential schools mandatorily.
On Bill 14, which was the involuntary enfranchisement of Indigenous children into residential schools. And what's really interesting is that he was actually in support of it.
Part of the exhibit is called Forgotten, the Métis Residential School Experience, owned by the Legacy of Hope Foundation, while Benedictson and Hill also weaved in the second part called Remembered, the story of Métis children at St. Joseph's Dunbow Industrial School, which used to be in operation near High River.
In our research, we discovered that up to 40% of students at Dunbow identified as Métis.
Benedictson says they felt called to emphasize Métis people as a reminder that the issue is not removed, many originating here in Alberta.
But because they do emphasize that they're the forgotten people, they don't get talked about as much.
At one time, there were 5 residential schools in the Calgary area alone, which many people also don't know, including St. Dunstan's School in Calgary proper.
Every time the students got sick there, they were sent home. So if they died from their sicknesses, they died at home. There was only one student who was marked as having died at the school.
This exhibit continues until October 16th, and on the first anniversary of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th, the Lougheed House is hosting an evening of Métis music and conversation. In Calgary, Taylor Braat, City News.